as much as people are going to destroy this earth abusively, as much as this earth is going to become uninhabitable or unfriendly towards us. And as much as it becomes unfriendly, we are going to have to create bigger or more coercive tools to coerce the earth to be friendly with us. And it's gonna spiral on and on because we can't create friendliness with abuse. We can't make a friendly land by coming and chopping abusively its grass. So there has to be another method. We have to reestablish the sanity of this land and of this place, of this earth, and our own sanity by a different approach, by creating a different approach. And here's where I wanted to get with this recording. Because I believe that it is in the power of the feminine to re-establish the natural kingdoms, to help the earth recover to its natural form. I feel that we as females, let's say, we have a natural quality of being in a sort of natural communion with the earth. And we have a certain power over how the earth behaves. And I can feel it. I can know it in my body, in myself, that we have the power over nature. We can recreate the earth and the natural kingdoms, re-establishing them in their original and healthy form. I feel this is a natural quality of the feminine energy. We can re-establish this earth to its natural form. We have the power of creation. And we can create life once again on this earth the way it should. Natural ecosystems that just work perfectly in balance with our human world without the need for abuse of any kind. Grass that just grows to the right amount. Trees, magnificent trees that give us an undescribable quality of air. And ecosystems that we can't even comprehend or imagine at this point because we weren't even allowed to remember or know what we had in the past, but it was completely severed and destroyed. There are ecosystems and ways of nature, let's say, that you can't even begin to imagine the magic and the majesty and the beauty that can exist. So it is in primarily in the hands of the feminine to restore the earth to its original form, to create once again the beauty and the magic and the majesty that was lost. So it is primarily in the hands of the feminine to recover the earth because she is the earth. She is in contact with the earth. But see, we cannot do that right now. The feminine can barely do that right now, can barely truly exercise her her true powers, because of this dysfunctional society that is currently ruling over this world. Like, look at us, look at everybody. It's like nobody, men and women, can barely get a moment of rest in this current society. You are being worked like a horse, as I said. We are kept in a permanent, deliberate, engineered state of survival. It's like, how would the feminine ever be able to remember, how to do it, how to recover her creative abilities and create again heaven on earth, how to remember how to recover these skills. It's enormous. It's enormous to be able to make magic basically happen. It's not as simple as just, flipping a finger and just wishing it to be. It's enormous, the challenge to make this happen, to make this earth function again correctly. And how would the feminine ever be able to do that when she's put constantly kept into a state of fear, of survival, of not even knowing what to eat tomorrow or what to feed her children tomorrow? When you are constantly held in a state of survival, you can never, absolutely never, be truly creative. So, how can the feminine be expected to, you know, recover the ultimate form of creativity, which is to birth life, true life, on the earth, to make life sprout once again on the earth, to rejuvenate and to recover the natural ecosystems? How can the feminine be expected to harness this type of power of creation when she's not even being given the slightest, almost like, peace of mind, being tormented and kept constantly, absolutely constantly, in a state of survival? Of course she can't. And that's a strategy, you know that which can be described as the devil, the dark entity, the parasite, which is working to keep all of us in this state of survival, to profit from us, from our life, is deliberately doing this. The devil knows very well the power of the feminine. It knows it better than we know it. And it is thus working deliberately to keep all of us in this state of survival. So, especially the feminine can never get a peace of mind. And this is where I see that the true masculine has to rise, man. Like, we cannot do it without you. And the earth cannot do it without you. The true masculine force rising to defend, to protect both the feminine and the earth. Because, see, what I understood, in that flash, in that very moment, when I was looking at this grass is that, see, it is the feminine which is able to recover the earth. Through her creative power, she is able to give new life to the entire earth. So it is the feminine which is able to recreate life on earth the way it should be. It is in our hands to do that, to learn how to do that from scratch. But we need the masculine to handle society. Like, we cannot handle society. We know nature, we know earth, we know life, we know creativity. That's our natural skill. And we shouldn't, let's say, be put to make order in the systems of this world or the systems of society, to police things around or things like this which just don't come naturally to the feminine principle as a whole. But it comes perfectly natural to the masculine principle, because the masculine principle is a principle of knowledge and of order. And it is the masculine force that has to arise to put order into the systems of society, so we can get a moment of breath, a moment of peace for once. Society has to be regulated. Society has to be put in order. The true masculine force has to arise and bring true natural principles, moral values, and orderly existence back into the world of humanity. Because the masculine principle is naturally inclined to know how to create order. To think rationally, to find the most optimal way to do things. So we need the masculine beings and men in general to handle society, to put order back into the world. So we can finally rest, so we can get a moment of rest, so we can take a breath for once, us as women and the feminine principle in general. Because it is only by being able to finally feel safe, finally feeling guarded and protected, and just given a moment of breath, taken out of this constant state of survival and fear, that we can finally learn or begin to learn the true creative act. How can you create life from scratch almost? How can you create something out of nothing? Look at this world again. Look at the devastation that it is in. Who do you think has the power to recover all of this? I've described this in the video called The Masculine and the Feminine First Outlines. It's my understanding that, the masculine holds the knowledge and the feminine holds the power. These are the two primordial forces of existence: knowledge and power, masculine and feminine. So we need the masculine force, which has the knowledge or can retrieve back the knowledge of, and thus put order into the world, especially in the systems of this world, in the system of society, so that the feminine, through her power, can start recreating life from scratch. So see how perfectly they are meant to work together. Because without the work of the masculine, the feminine will never, absolutely never be able to access her power once again. She will never be able to tap into that and learn again how to use it. So without the work of the masculine, this world can never truly recover, because the feminine will not be able to access her power, and she's not going to be able to recreate, to rebalance this life on earth. So we need the masculine beings to step up and correct this society, this world, to put order back into this world, to make things just function again for once. Have everybody just have enough food to eat and water to drink and shelter on their heads, so we can finally rest for once. And have the peace of mind, of heart, of body, and of being, to be able to then truly start, starting again the engine of life, the power of the feminine, the creative force of life itself. Which is able to recreate our earth, to give back, give new life to this earth, to make it grow and behave literally in ways in which humanity cannot comprehend or imagine, even at this point, the magnificence, the beauty, the magic that can be created here on this earth, on this land, as devastated as it is currently. As the feminine can recover that. But she again cannot do it without the masculine, without having this force which constantly works to keep things in order. So she can have sanity, so she can have protection, so she can have peace. Again, to develop that, bud of creativity, to have that life growing first again within her, and then to commune again with the life around, so the life around can start growing as the heart of the feminine starts recovering. The feminine will never be able to recover without the masculine. Ever. And Earth will never be able to recover without the masculine. Ever. And we are created to come together as the original couple. The masculine and the feminine are created to be together because they represent the true primordial forces of existence: knowledge and power, masculine and feminine. And we need them together. How can you have any sane and coherent and beautiful, majestic life without knowledge of what you're doing? And how then can you have any anything created, anything existing without the power to make that thing be? So these are the two essentials, the two most essentials principles of existence. And they are in us, and we are here to represent them and to make them work together through us. So please, just please, let's stop this ultimate division between the feminine and the masculine. Look at this society, how it worked to crumble and divide this primordial union, this primordial couple. Society leaning either in a matriarchal system, either a patriarchal system. No. We need the original core, which is feminine and masculine working as one. This is love. We need a world based on love once again. But love not as an abstract, concept or a philosophical or a spiritual one, but an demonstratable, one. Love made real. Through us, through our actions, through males and females finding the natural union again, knowledge and power coming together. It is the only way to bring back sanity both in our social world, in the world of humans, and in nature, and to the earth as a whole.